Final afternoon in the Forum. The mystery, of course, could Magic Johnson play with that pulled hamstring? And if not, could the other Lakers somehow dig down and make up for it? And we knew one thing, the Pistons were not going to show any mercy trying to get a chokehold on the championship. We go to the Forum, Lakers needing some inspiration from the home crowd. Magic Johnson limped through warm-ups right here, came on the floor gingerly. He would start the game, but not very effective as he turns and comes up short from right there. He left the game early and would not return without scoring a point. Now, once again, it was Detroit's backcourt in this one. Isaiah Thomas gets the open jumper and buries it. Pistons up 27-22 at the end of a quarter. The Lakers realize that someone has to pick up the scoring slack, and Tony Campbell, a terrific move right here, and lays it off the glass and gets fouled, and the Lakers lead 35-34 in the second quarter. But the Pistons just carved him up. Dumars to Aguirre, to Sally, to Bill Laimbeer underneath. He gets fouled, and Detroit has a 2-point lead at halftime. The second half, Lakers come out flying. It's Kareem with the skyhook. Good game for Kareem today. The game tied at 59. James Worthy would have to pick up the slack. He did. Spinning inside, lays it up with the left hand. Worthy had 26. But once again, Joe Dumars was unconscious in the third quarter. Drives, pulls up, hits the shot. Dumars had 17 straight points for Detroit. Once again, top of the key around the screen, buries it. 21 points in the third quarter. Lakers up 2 going to the fourth. Kareem drives and hits. His parents loving it, and the Lakers lead 96-94. But then the third Piston guard chips in. Vinnie Johnson, the microwave, burying it off the double team. Pistons up by 5, 109-104. Lakers draw close. But Worthy buries a prayer right there with the shot clock running down, 111-108. After this drive by Isaiah right there, critical plays down the stretch made by Isaiah. Watch the defensive play by Dumars. He does it at both ends, blocking the shot by David Rivers. And the Pistons go on to win Game 3, 114-110. Dennis Rodman, 19 rebounds, even with that bad back. Dumars had 31, Isaiah 26, Vinnie Johnson 17. They combined for 74 points. And once again, it was Detroit's guards that told the story.
It seemed to be some confusion with their defense in the third quarter on who was switching out or not, and for about 2 or 3 minutes there, they never got straight on what they were doing on defense, and it seems as though I kept coming off wide open.
That was a real boost for us. We needed that tonight. You just can't say too much about Isaiah, Joe, and Vinny. God, you got to give a lot of credit to Vinnie Johnson. He had some key baskets today.
Pistons can breathe easy. They go for the sweep.
Long and winding road for Daly.
You weren't exactly an overnight success in this business. It took you a long time to get your first head coaching job in the NBA. That didn't last very long.
I didn't even get a collegiate job, assistant's job. I was a freshman coach at like 32 years old. And I worked 6 years there for Vic Bubas at Duke University. And I had some pretty good opportunities to leave there, take some head coaching jobs, which I had turned down. But, you know, the last year I was there, I said to myself, you know, I'm really glad I stayed this year because I learned so much about myself and about the profession and about the business that I think it's going to serve me well. And so I think sometimes, and I tell some of my assistants, don't be in a hurry. There's no hurry to get a job that you're going to lose. Take your time, learn all you can learn, prepare yourself the best way you can, if there is a way to prepare for a job in the NBA, and then take your shot. But don't be in a hurry.
Do you have to have a little bit of the ham in you to be successful at what you do right now?
You know, that's kind of interesting because I never thought of myself. I used to be, when I was the coach at the University of Pennsylvania or Boston College or Punxsutawney High School, growing up at Kane, I was always so serious-minded. I mean, it was every game, every practice was the Third World War. But it's kind of changed for me over the years and become a lot more flexible. I'm having more fun with it. And I've had, surprisingly, I've had the most fun I've ever had in coaching, even though I've been at the high school level, freshman coach, collegiate level, pro job, got fired in Cleveland, all that. This is the most fun I've ever had in this profession.
But are you a little bit of a ham?
Probably, I don't know. Maybe I've been all wrong all the time. Maybe I should have tried the other way. Be an actor. You know, I always thought 2 things I always really want to do. 1, I'd like to be a pro golfer. Or 2, I'd like to be a singer a la Bobby Short, stylist type guy. I love Mel Torme, but I love those kind of things. I always wish I don't have that kind of talent. But if I had my druthers, those are the 2 things I always wanted to be.
I've said it publicly before. I think you probably do as good a job as anybody of juggling the talent that you have and the personalities that you have on that team, but that can't be an easy job.
No, this team is not I've told them within the last 3 weeks, this is a tough team to coach. I don't have players a la Jordan, a Bird, where I play 46, 47 minutes. Some I do, but a lot of others I got to juggle. I need offense, I need defense. From that standpoint, it becomes a little more difficult. But I've also learned sometimes it's better when your hearing goes a little bit. You don't hear everything, you don't see everything, and you kind of let things slide a little, particularly in this league. We're dealing with people who have long-term contracts, multi-million-dollar companies. They're all corporations within themselves. And I think you got to be sensitive to that and understand it's give and take. And you're in a management position. You're trying to manage these people and get them in an atmosphere where you can win. And that's what we've tried to do here, create an atmosphere for winning.
But if you don't get up and yell and scream and cheer, everybody makes such a big deal about motivation in this league. How do you motivate a team?
I think you've got to hopefully draft people who are self-motivated. I know that's a nice term, but I think when you're going to play, in our case last year, 115 games, we've already moved into the 90s here. I don't think you're going to be able to motivate guys to play that many games, along with the travel, along with the fatigue factor, although we have less because we have our own plane. But they've got to want to play the game, and I think you look for competitive people, people who may be dead tired, but when they go out, they're going to be competitive on that night. And I think our organization has done a good job of that.
Bogman caught the ball. Tell him.
Are you tough on a team?
No, I'm not tough at all. In fact, I'm probably one of the easier coaches. We probably practice less than a lot of teams. We don't have long practices. I have limited movie sessions because I don't want to bore a team. I'd rather keep them fresh and wanting to play basketball. I'm more interested in that at our level than I am in boring them to death or having 2-hour meetings. Now, everybody's got to do it their own way. That's just the way I feel about it.
You appear on the sidelines to be very much in control of situations, not always in control of your emotions from time to time, but even that in many cases. When your team goes out and doesn't do what you know they can do, does it eat at you? How do you handle losing?
We were struggling at a halftime recently of a playoff game, and I said, how many of you people saw the Bad Boys video? And they all raised their hand. I said, what was the most commonly used phrase? And one guy said one thing, and then Isaiah said, work ethic. I said, you're exactly right. That's what we used. If you watched it, work ethic. I said, well, when are we going to start? We're not going to succeed in this game unless we get back to our work ethic. But if you could pick a phrase out, I think rambling on and complaining isn't going to help. I think if you can pick up on a phrase that maybe someone or a couple of your players will identify with, it will help. But again, you better have pretty good people.
After getting so close to an NBA championship last year, have you let yourself even think about what it would mean to Chuck Daly and his family and the Pistons if you were to win it this year?
You know, last year we went, and we weren't quite ready for it. I think when we went out to play the Lakers, a lot of people say, do you think it'll go 5 games or 6 games? I didn't know what to think. And then we played great. Our guys really responded. And in the 6th game, with roughly 35 to 40 seconds to go, we were in a position to win an NBA title. 3-point lead, and it didn't happen. And I looked up at the clock. I said, I can't believe this is happening. But I've got it pretty much in perspective. I'd love to win it. It would be great, both from a financial standpoint and from the standpoint you really accomplished something in the basketball world. But if we don't, I'm going on about my business and moving on.
He is going about his business in an outstanding manner, and good things do sometimes come to those who wait.
He has the one championship ring as an assistant with the 76ers. When we return, we'll look back at the days
immediately after the fight. It seems like in your dressing room it's a happy scene. Is this a moral victory for you? A draw, which is a moral victory?
It's not a victory. It's just happiness that it was a draw that we can go back and do it again. Try it once again.
So what are you saying? You want a rematch? Is this like the Rocky movies again?
Well, definitely a rematch. We definitely want a rematch.
Tommy, did you ever think about your brother at any point during this fight?
I thought about my brother awful lot, but my brother know that our concerns is for him. Our heart is with him. And we're going to go home now and take care of my brother and see what the problem is and correct it.
If Tommy Hearns came out the winner in his own mind, certainly as a result of the draw, What about Sugar Ray Leonard? Do you suppose in his own mind he came out the loser tonight?
I think that's very probable, Charlie. Not only did Ray not win a fight that everyone expected him to win, even by knockout, but Tommy Hearns even stole the spotlight away from him, and in Ray's mind, that's unforgivable. So for Ray Leonard, probably not feeling like he was a winner tonight from this draw.
Immediately after the fight, Larry Rawson talked with Sugar Ray Leonard.
Tommy fought a tremendous fight. I think he surprised with the 2 knockdowns. Had me a little stunned. I came back, I had him hurt, and I give him a lot of credit because he persevered. He came back with great resilience.
Did you think you were going to knock him out in the 5th?
I knew I had him. I just knew I had him. But Tommy, being a fighter, being the champion that he is, he hung in there.
Did you feel you were losing the fight from the 10th round on?
I knew the fight was close because of the 2 knockdowns, and I kind of figured I had to put something together very fast. I did that, and I thought I was pulling it out with the last round because I thought the last round was a deciding factor. But I think from a sentimental standpoint, you know, because no one really gave Tommy that much of a shot. And Tommy, once again, proved people wrong.
If nothing else, this fight proved that Tommy Hearns can, in fact, be lighthearted. That's a facet of his personality we've never seen, and we finally got to see it after the fight at the news conference.
Tommy Hearns showed us a side of him and a certain kind of personality that heretofore we'd not seen.
Did we fight tonight? Did we give you what you want? I wish you guys could have been there and fought for me tonight. But you know what? I owe it all to you guys. All my success, all my well-being, and this great fight tonight. I owe it to this man for giving me the great fight, and I owe it to each and every one of you all. Ray, next time, don't fight me so hard, baby.
You know, over the past 4, 5, 6 years, a lot of people have compared Sugar Ray Leonard to Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, in the latter stages of his career, won decisions based on his charisma, and I think we saw a lot of that tonight, even though Leonard may have sneaked in with the draw.
Well, it may be similar to the Hagler fight, which many people think that possibly Hagler won over Sugar Ray Leonard, myself included. If Sugar Ray Leonard is standing at the end of the fight, I think the prevailing opinion is he's going to get the decision. This may well have been an example. It was a fairly close fight, but one that I think the majority of the press here and everyone else thought Tommy Hearns won for 2 reasons. He put a lot of rounds in the bank early, and he had 2 rounds that were knockdown rounds of Leonard. Should have been 10-8 rounds.
And Tommy Hearns disproved a theory that he has no chin and has no stamina. On Monday night, he proved that he had both. For Al Bernstein, I'm Charlie Steiner at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Slightly more somber note, 22-year-old Henry Hearns, the brother of Thomas Hearns, was arraigned on first-degree murder charges Monday, stemming from the fatal soda. Well, what about Rick Mahorn and Vinnie Johnson from the Pistons? Could be left unprotected, as could Dennis Johnson of the Celtics, Sidney Green and Kenny Walker of the Knicks, maybe Reggie Theus and Spud Webb of the Atlanta Hawks. By taking the first pick in the expansion draft, the Minnesota will pick ahead of Orlando in the regular NBA draft on June 27th. For much of the NBA playoff season, the Detroit Pistons guards have taken their share of criticism. Even though the team was winning series after series, the backcourt, for various reasons, was not pouring in the points. But in the finals, what a turnaround, especially with Piston guard Joe Dumars. Chris Myers reports from Los Angeles.
While the Pistons have one leg already in the winner's circle, Joe Dumars has one hand on the most valuable player award for the finals. On a team with the Worm, the Spider, the Microwave, and the prophecies of Isaiah, it is Little Joe who's been Detroit's leading man against the Lakers.
Maybe the Lakers have me in that thought too, so I don't know. Maybe they're focusing on the names. I don't know. I don't need a funny name though.
He's matured into his team and into his role as a player. And you know, used to be they would go to AD every time last year. Now they're going to Dumars every time.
He's kind of like a silent partner, but he gets the job done every night. He's very quick, very deceptive.
Dumars was making shots from out of this world in Game 2 of the series when he scored 33 points. Then in Game 3, he chalked up 31 with an amazing 17 straight in the third quarter.
I mean, obviously, I'm looking for him. I want the ball. When I step on the floor, I'm thinking score.
In the playoffs, his shooting dropped to 41%, but with Scott and Magic ailing in the finals, he's been nailing shots at a 62% clip.
He's kind of overshadowed because everyone looks at this as Isaiah's team, Isaiah's franchise. But Joe Dumars is a great guard, both defensively and offensively.
Just prior to the Lakers' practice here Monday, an earthquake shook Los Angeles. But the more severe aftershock they may be experiencing is that from Joe Dumars, who has all but destroyed their chances of repeating.
I was thinking about getting out of L.A. then. Man.
Motivating factor for tomorrow?
Yeah. Get him out of here, man.
From Los Angeles, Chris Myers, ESPN.
Turning to college hoop news, Chris Mills, the Kentucky basketball recruit who became